Cyberpunk 2077 has the worst enemy AI I've ever played in a game, and it's absolutely perfect. And that's hyperbole. It's not the worst ever, but it's bad, but it's perfect. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about people talking about game design and not understanding and wanting what they want, right? Anytime you start talking about AI, you know there's somebody going to bring up fear, already, right? They're going to bring up fear as the highlight, the high bar. Fear was an okay game. It was okay. Way more like No One Lives Forever, made from the same company, same group of people. That was way more interesting and way more fun. But Fear had the greatest enemy AI ever. It had to be better. No, it didn't. It didn't matter. That wasn't the fun part of the game. Like, it's fun to have occasional interactions with AI where they behave realistically, right? But, realistically, gunfights don't last that long. But in something like Cyberpunk, they clearly weren't worried about that. What they wanted to do is give you targets for your tools. And so you have agency in that game to use your guns, use your grenades. I mean, I've amped up my grenades now where if I see three people who I don't know, or could be enemies, standing together, I can just swipe them out with one grenade throw and then just take their stuff. And there's they'll never give me a gunfight. And they never would have before, really. Like, I could always handle them. But it's just if there was more around, but like even that, right? And it does this nice power curve then where you have more tools to take care of these enemies who have never been that tough to begin with. And they've always given you the option that you can pretty much always just run away. Only the police chase you down, I think. I don't think anybody else. I will say it is weird. I've never had a police criminal fight where I just shoot the criminals and I make sure not to touch a cop. The cops still always turn on me. But the cops are the only people who chase you. Everybody else is just like, oh, you're running off. All right, cool. Later, we're going to go hang over there. And that's, I think, on purpose, right? No, I did not make the game. I didn't dig the combat in some of their other games. But for here, they're going to have the guy standing away and he pops his head up. Hey, thank you for the target, right? They do this really nice mix where they give you a mix of characters, of how they behave, and then they throw in some things because you want to always have hey, what do I have to target that's not obvious, that's not the biggest damage causer, and it's things that can attack your powers, and so you want to take care of those, right? And so they mix it up by giving you those, and they give you there's a whole bunch of things that'll come at you, but they're never hey, this is fear level of AI, right? It doesn't have to be. And that's why when people try to talk about game design and they try to take one aspect of it and go really deep into it, they kind of ignore the context for it. Because almost every game design answer is, well, it depends. Because look at what something like the Far Cry series does is they give you discrete units. So they give you a sniper unit. That sniper unit rarely ever is going to charge. Almost never. And almost always it's going to be trying to climb to get the best angle on you. You have some gunners. There'll be some level of coming at you or not. And if you're 1,000 yards away, they'll just shoot at you if they can see you. But if they can't see you, they'll come at you. And then you have some melee-only guys who will come straight at you, right? And a lot of games do some variation of that, right? It's the shotgun, as machine gun, sniper rifle kind of mix, right? And sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's not. And it just plays out well because you want to have some predictability around the AI you're fighting because otherwise you don't have agency. If you never know what to expect, it's just going to be constant chaos and you reacting to what's ever happening. Versus if you can have something that you can expect and anticipate, then you can set traps. You can think you're smart. You can pull something off and go, oh, if I get rid of this guy first and throw the grenade there, by the time anyone reacts, I can do this, all the shooting and shoot everyone in the head really quick. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do that adds to the fun of playing it, and which I think makes the gunfights actually pretty fun. But again, the AI is not good in the way a bunch of people are going to come on here. And if I say that the AI is good, they're going to say it's horrible. It's the worst game ever. Oh my God, I hated all the gunplay. Which is, if that's how they feel, fine, sure. But that's why those design discussions are always so fraught, because they will have those kind of feelings and you're missing the context for the kind of game it is and what they're trying to deliver. and it's about this wide variety of tools. And if you, it's think about it like this kind of rule of, if you're going to change everything on one side of it, you need to keep the other side of it kind of normalized and predictable. So your tools that you can use are wild and have a giant variety. So you want to keep then your enemies a little bit more understandable so that you can use those wide variety of tools, because you're not going to ever learn all of how to use all of the tools in there. And I think about that first, the new thing I'm working on of like, I like the idea of having predictable but hard, not hard, but predictable but scary, dangerous. But how do you, like the Far Cry solves the predictability by always making them the same for all the groups. But how do you solve the predictability if you're going to introduce new groups? And how do you express that to players in a way that they understand? And that then becomes a design problem more than, hey, do these guys accurately, accurately model their behavior, right? So that was my point there. Because it is interesting if I come out here and say that the AI is great, people are just going to blast me for not being realistic. And if I say the AI is horrible, people are going to blast me because how fun the game was. And that's why in those kind of design discussions, you can't be absolute about it. And yeah, it's troll in the beginning. But it's way more complex, and it's way more dependent on the context of what you're doing and the game you're making and the whole experience around it.